Okay, so this is Lizzie before head and ear trim. As you can see, I've brushed it up a bit, but as you can see, it's pretty messy. I'm trying to get to show you the ears. As you can see, there's wispy bits of hair above the ear, in the ear, on the ear itself, and coming out from underneath the flap of the ear. So I start with brushing everything against the ear. So I brush it off and I put my thumb in the ear to hold the shape. And then I can see where the ear is and the side. And using the thinning scissors, I'm trying to make like a roundish shape. I wouldn't usually do it like that. I would do it this way around. But obviously I want to show you from the video what I'm doing. So looks a bit awkward, but it's actually from that side just cutting, and then I cut a little bit at a time. I make a roundish shape, or I make sure it's not sticking up too much above the ear, and then I look again and I let the dog put their ears up themselves. Then I look at the side of the ear, and again there's a lot of little bits of hair and or lighter hair which obviously stands out. So again, I use this thinning scissor mainly because I just find it a more natural look, and although you've trimmed the ear and it's neat, it's not too trimmed. I also pull the hair out. I know a lot of people do pull the hair out, between their thumb and their finger, and it is very useful, but I just find that Lizzie is such a sensitive little dog when it comes down to pulling hair. She'll bear it if I do this, but she won't if I actually pull hair off. So I just prefer using thinning scissors. So I do the little bit in front of the ear as well. So I'll brush it up and I cut a little bit and I'll brush it back to see what it looks like. And then, every time I see a little bit sticking out, like here, just on top of the ear, then I can really pull it out, as you can see there. And then I can take my thinning scissors, bless her, and just cut it off, or just shorten it off. Okay. So if I want to get rid of more, obviously I give many little cutting movements, and I'll just take it off until I've got all I want to take off. On the ear, as you can see, there's some lighter little bits. It's not very in focus, it's focused on Lizzie. But on the ear itself, you can see some lighter little bits. She's actually molting, so it's usually the sign that she needs a good brush. And it's like the hair itself on the ear needs to come out. And actually, I pulled quite a lot off her ears. The problem is if you have a dog that's got slightly pricked ears, or ears that tend to go up, by removing that hair, it will definitely stand up for a few days. I'm lucky. I mean, she did when she was a puppy, but she's fine now, so I can pull it all off. That's the only bits of hair that I actually pull off rather than cut off. So it's quite a bit on that ear. And as you can see now on the ear, there's no like whitish or lighter hair patches, because that was the hair that was coming off. And again, at the top of the ear, I'm pulling out quite a bit darker hair. Excuse Lizzie runny eyes. She's had a little bit of a runny eye the last few days, so it looks a little bit messy. Unfortunately, I was trying to film this myself with my camera on a stand, and it's difficult when you're on a close up to try and get exactly the right position. But hopefully you see the idea. I use the the comb, the fine comb, to just kind of help me pull the hair out if I need on the ear. Okay, so it's already looking a little bit better. The side of the ear, Lizzie in particular, has got a lot of those long, lighter, flimsy hair. It really looks a mess. On the boys, I don't seem to have that problem, and I can just leave it a little bit longer. But with her, it just looks so obvious and so messy because it's quite a curly, frizzy hair as well. So I tend to be quite ruthless and just cut it off or round it off so it frames the head a little bit. So you can see already a little bit of difference between the ear I've just done and the other that I haven't touched yet. And then I will brush again the hair at the back of the head and on this side and see if it's enough or if it needs any more cutting. To start with, I used to cut very little because I was scared and not sure what to do, but really if you do a tiny little bit at a time and then leave it and then come back to it later, then gradually you learn how much really you want to take off, and it's a lot easier. Nowadays Lizzie doesn't get shown, so it doesn't really matter if it goes slightly wrong or if I nick the ear, and I think I do in this video. I'm using the straight edges inside the ear and I kind of miss. There we go. Now we can see it a bit better. So you can see the ear on the right, which has been done, and the one on the left is still to be done. And I mean, it's made quite a difference without being dramatically different. And here is when I've done both. So I've done exactly the same process for the other ear, and here it is. So I like to keep quite a bit of hair in between the ears. So here we go.